Hello to all my good friends out there. I greet you with a very warm, a very genuine, a very enthusiastic, loving, from the bottom of my heart, trader hug to anyone who decided to come by and join me for today's video, which you will love. And the topic of today is going to be, do you trust in Jerome? Do you believe the Fed could rise us from the ashes and lift us to the glory that we all deserve and keep this market going up forever and ever and ever? We're going to talk about that here in just a second. Before I get started, let me say, if you don't know who I am, this is your first time, my name is Doug. I'm with Trade with Doug. For the rest of you, you already know that. But as I say in every beginning of videos, if you need help with your personal trading, make sure that you go to my website, tradewithdoug.com. Go up to the private community tab, click on it, join us each day for live trading. Also, for you guys out there who love crypto and you love micro caps, join Sylvia Bellrock and I each day in our live trading community called the Penny Pound. This one is free. So all the stuff that I'm talking about and the detail for each one is down in the description box. So we're bullish. Then we're bearish, then we're back bullish, and I've got maybe 20 minutes left before the market closes. I've got the futures up here. Who knows? Will they go busting through high? Will they stay where they are, or will they just start dropping? Who knows? We've been all over the board today. Some of that is understandable, but let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is Mr. Jerome, the Fed, raising rates. First time in quite a few years. Can't quite remember exactly how long it's been. By a quarter point. Now, I think the market had that priced in. That's something that was discussed. They said they were going to follow that. The real outlier here was obviously the Russia-Ukraine crisis. Would they be propelled to not do this, to not to hike, or would they hike even more? Or is because of this conflict created such a massive bubble, not bubble, like, for lack of a better word, let me just go with bubble. I'm sorry if that's not the right word that fits. And these commodity prices have just gone through the roof, and this has just accelerated inflation. It's hard to tell right now what the next steps are, but what has happened, Fed has raised a quarter point. Market didn't like it at all. And then all of a sudden, hey, 20 minutes later, they love it, you know. And when you're in a market like this, again, what I want to say is some of the stuff we've talked about over the last couple of weeks. Markets are very headline sensitive. So each time Powell is speaking, this market can just flip back and forth, or basically any Fed member. I think the biggest takeaway right now, as of this very moment, I'm not listening to this, but at this very moment, was Powell had said that inflation will go from 7.9 where it is now down to 4% by the end of this year. Yeah. That's why I said, do you believe in them? He's going to fix this inflation for us. He's going to cut it in half before the year's over. Well, I'll be damned. Huh? Well, you can make your own assumptions on what that includes, entails, or if that's BS. Remember, this is the same person that said inflation was transitory in the first place. So I guess if you're going to trust somebody, that's a perfect person to trust. Now, us traders, we don't have time for that bullshit, right? We've got to make some money. So my suggestion, like everyone else's suggestion probably would be, well, not everybody else's, it's difficult to say right now. You've had this really big rally over the last couple of days. And again, if you guys pay attention to a lot of the things I say, I don't always do them myself, but I do have some great lessons. Let me just say that. One of the things I always say is that the market puts all traders in weird positions all the time. It's what always does the opposite. So you would think down here, the logical thing, if you were using logic, and again, market does not operate on logic, never did, doesn't make sense. If you were thinking here just 2 days ago, you have no solution to the Russian-Ukraine crisis. You have China maybe stepping in. You've got a commodity crisis on the board that could cause food shortages in some places of the world. You're paying like $5 to $6 at the pump. Inflation is out of control. And then you're right here teeter-tottering on a breakdown technically. And what happens? Right before the Fed meeting, this market just goes wall-to-wall rally. It's been straight 2 days with no breather. Also, you got a huge lift today out of China stocks. Everything in the Chinese market was ripping based off of, they say they're going to save their market from spiraling out of control. So you've got all kinds of stuff running, all kinds of trash running today. Just one of those days. From here, we need to see how this gets digested. You still have some technical levels that we can draw from that we need to pay attention to. One is right up here towards this 4,400 area where we were trading in about February 28th. I'm going to put 228 up in here. towards the end of February, this is where our resistances were. So in order for this thing to really start clicking off some power, we've got to move up here. So we still have some work to do. And I know it's a big day, but I think the NASDAQ is still in bear market territory. If not, it's very close. But right now you are running into probably some trend line resistance. So let's go with those numbers right now. Any rally may lead us up to 4370s to 4400s. Those are the new numbers that we're looking at. This that you're seeing here could be very similar to what you saw here. Let me open this chart up so you guys can take a look at it. We're going to try to just use the charts to help us here. You had 2 big days, then you followed by 3 to 4 days of going back and forth. Maybe that's what you get here. Maybe we just trade sideways. Maybe we go straight up into this. Maybe we start rallying, and maybe we even go up to the 4600s. Difficult to tell right now. I think it's going to take a day or two for some of this to be digested. Again, a market's very headline sensitive, and any headline could shift the directions that we're going. But right now, the charts do look pretty bullish. This was a technical bounce followed by a good news bounce down here at these 4150s. So just like we had talked back here about the 4300 being that line in the sand, here you are now at 4150, and these are the levels. But I want to show you guys something else again about charts, the power of charts. Using charts to block out all of this noise, because there's a hell of a lot of noise out in this market. And for us that are going through that, and you're pouncing through headlines, you're reading stuff, watching news that pretty much is all negative, it can sour your mood. It can sour the way that you look at things. It can change your biases, and it's okay to have a bullish bias or bearish bias. My bias is I still feel we're bearish. I don't think anything in this world has changed that warrants this market going on a long-term upward thing. I don't believe the Fed. I'm just giving you my personal opinions. I don't tell you how I'm going to trade it. I don't believe the Fed at all. They lied to us from the beginning. They told us this inflation was transitory. Now they removed that word from the dictionary. It's not transitory. Now the same person that said it wasn't transitory is now telling us they're going to fix it by the end of the year. This is bogus. The war is not stopping right now. Commodity prices are going to continue to go higher. We're not just going to roll right out of this. Now that doesn't mean the market can't trade higher. So even though my thoughts are bearishness, this might be technically, I can make a case for both bullish and bearishness. So my heart leans me towards bearishness, but right now the technicals are overriding that. And here's why. When I look at this market, I talked about this 4,300 being the line in the sand. And you know what? We did blow through that, but you had one day here, and then you had, let's see, about 4 days here, and it's right back at that level again. So it's not really staying underneath of that 4,300 for very long. So when you kind of strip away all your personal beliefs and your feelings and your thoughts and all the stuff that's going on, there is this magnet that's sitting at 4,300 right now. For some reason, this market can't pull off of that. Now that we're currently at about 43.22, we're going to have to see if this 4,300 continues to be a holding zone, or this just turns out to be a bounce into that as a rejection and then recycles a little lower. Again, I can't tell you. So here's 2 different scenarios that most likely will happen. Actually 3. Let's go with number 1 as we rally straight into 4,400. We'll just put this up here. That's 4,400. This would be number 1. You just go V-shape straight on into that bad boy. So if you open up strong tomorrow, the early morning hours hold, you continue to see the dips getting bought intraday. That's most likely what will happen. 2 is we will flag sideways or trade back and forth in an aggressive range, and then either move higher or move lower from there. So that would be number 2, is this flagging pattern or consolidation pattern that mimics much of what you saw right here. That would be my second guess. Probably won't see that at this point. The third will just be a complete wipeout that comes back down into the lows. And I figure this time that would be a much more uglier scenario. And that's all I got. I mean, that's it. It's going to be one of those 3 things, and let the market just do what it needs to do, and we'll trade accordingly. And then you can, again, build your trading plan off of that. So if you get a chance and it is strong, we can long this up into the 4,400s or buy stocks Some of these look good on the bottoms, the PayPals, the Rokus, the ZMs. They look really good off the bottom, but you can't trust these. We can get some longs up into here and then maybe entertain a short idea up here. If it bounces back and forth, you lose a lot of your edge there. You know, it's going to be more of a scalper's kind of market, a very quick market, day traders market. Anything below here probably just needs to be sold. And that's that. So guys, I hope this helped you. Again, what did we talk about today? Do you believe in the Fed? Do you believe that the Fed will fix inflation like they said? I'm going to say no, but that doesn't mean we can't bounce. That doesn't mean we can't rally 200 to 300 points. A lot of stuff still left out there where there are a lot of broken components across the board in this market, things we haven't experienced. The only thing you can do as a trader is take it one day at a time, one trade at a time, respect your stops, do your studying, all of that stuff, and you'll be all right. You know, we'll eventually get through this and get a more clearer direction. But as it stands, that's the way it is. So if you need help, guys, thanks for watching this video. Make sure you come visit me at Trade with Doug. I do appreciate all of you. Take care, trade well, and I will talk to you here very soon. See you.